Hello everyone, this is Sidekickjason with another episode commentary. Today we'll be looking at the Season 2 episode, episode 52. This episode is Edward and the Twins.
Edward is a very old engine.
This episode, is safe to say, is my least favorite episode out of the whole second series. I was actually half tempted to just scrap this episode. I wasn't content with the way it turned out in a lot of ways, but I had already filmed it, and I was so close to having it done that I kept it, even though I'm not super thrilled about it. Fun fact, actually, there is an episode that never aired from Season 1. That it was supposed to be episode 27, I believe, but I scrapped that episode, and instead I shifted all of the episodes over and put the prologue in at the beginning. So that episode, I'll tell you guys a little bit about it. It was called Overshooting Gordon, and it's supposed to be about how Gordon had, over a period of time, had kept overshooting the platform and always stopping beyond the platform. Then the coaches weren't actually at the platform where they needed to be, and then the passengers couldn't get out. And so Gordon was constantly having to go back. And so this is a reoccurring thing that was becoming quite the problem on the railway. And so I believe I'd have to go back and read the story again. It's been so long. Holy cow, it's been like 5-6 years. Oh, just crazy. Anyway, so actually no, it'd be even longer than that since I wrote it with Season 1. Anyway, what am I getting off track? So but in it, the joke was that one of these times when Gordon overshoots the platform, there's actually a passenger on board that hadn't been to Sodor in a really long time. But the last time he had been there, it was when it was very early in Gordon's time on Sodor, and so the man was very young when he first came, and now he's very old. And he was joking because it was the exact same with Gordon overshooting the platform, and so Gordon gets to tell the story with all the other engines about how he overshot the platform back in his early days on Sodor, and so just kind of a fun little story, but it never made it just because I wasn't really thrilled with the plot, and I wanted more of. I was focused more on the Vickers party and Terrence and George, and I wanted those episodes in there instead. So that is one episode that is scrapped. There's also another episode that's filmed with these episodes from Season 1 that actually is not airing in Season 2. It's called Present Predicament. And so that might actually show up sometime later down the road. If in like Season 3 or 4, you might just be watching and randomly see a very a low resolution video that reminds you of Season 1. So I'd have to release that on a Thursday and do like a hashtag Throwback Thursday. I don't know, kind of funny. So in this episode, let me explain kind of what's going on. Donald and Douglas have been acting terrible, worse than usual, and none of the engines can figure out why. And so Edward has to go work with them, and he's getting quite bugged just because of how reckless they're being. And he talks to Boko and Trevor, who suggest that maybe they're just doing it out of for attention. So Edward comes up with a new idea of a way that he could get them some attention. So Edward takes this really long passenger train, and he knows he's not going to make it up Gordon's Hill. So he takes it all the way to Gordon's Hill, and then he's in need of help from other engines. So Donald and Douglas are called to go in and assist Edward. So a lot of good shots and scenes in this episode. I'm not super thrilled with the plot, but I did like the look and the turnout of a lot of it. There was just some really good scenes and stuff. Plus, Donald and Douglas, kind of a fun fact about Season 1 when I wrote it was that I only had Donald. I didn't actually own a Douglas Tomy Trackmaster model, and so when I wrote all of Season 1, I actually only included Donald. That's why at the beginning of episode, I think it's 4, the Luck of the Scottish one, only Donald is appearing in it. And then later when I got close to finishing writing Season 1, I actually had finally bought Douglas, and so I had him, and that's why that's when I came up with twin races and that's why it's so far back at the end of the season, just because it was so late in production. So kind of fun with kind of the history of that. And so I wanted to include that. I wanted to make sure that Donald and Douglas got an episode in season 2. So this was their episode, even though I'm not super thrilled with it, which was part of the reason why I didn't scrap it, because I wanted Donald and Douglas to get an episode. So, but I know for future episodes there's going to be a lot more of Donald and Douglas. I've made sure to include them. So I guess go subscribe, visit the channel, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Have fun.